Good morning, Lorain County, and welcome to another episode of the Culinary Enthusiast here at the Lorain County Community College Culinary Arts Program. Today we have some guests with us, Chef Jonathan Standen and his wife Lorain, and they're going to be talking to us about some plant-based cooking. But before we get into that, I'd like to know a little bit about you guys, how you got into the plant-based cooking movement, and just, so Lorain, why don't we start with you?
I got into the plant-based movement really due to illness. And a long time ago, about 12 years ago, I was 34, and I had been diagnosed with bursitis and tendonitis in all of my joints.
I think I have that.
Yeah. I can fix that. I can fix that. And I had cholesterol of 300 and triglycerides of 600. And I was just going downhill really fast, chronic fatigue. It was just way too young for that to be happening. So for about a year, they were testing me for lupus and MS and rheumatoid and Lyme disease and all these different things, and no one could tell me what was wrong. They just kept putting me on different medications to manage my symptoms, and finally, one day my rheumatologist, after I really sort of broke down on him because I was so frustrated, he said, a lot of people come in with your symptoms, and we don't know what's wrong with them either, but some people have had luck changing their diet. And he sent me on my way, and that was the last time I saw him. I started doing research, and
So you had this drastic transition then. So what was the diet? And obviously you're going to tell us about what the diet is now, but what was your diet? I mean, what was it like?
It was really just a standard American diet. I didn't think I was doing that badly. We did take out several times a week, but I grew up on a farm, so I love vegetables and fruits, and I thought I was doing really well. But we were eating McDonald's maybe once a week. We were doing takeout a few times a week, and just a lot of really processed foods.
Okay.
And obviously meat and dairy, like most of the rest of the world, here in America at least. And so, I didn't know any different. That's the way I had grown up. So then what I started realizing as I started really diving into research, which I'm sort of a researcher at heart, and then especially as I got my certifications in plant-based nutrition and culinary nutrition, is that especially for people who are prone to inflammation, into heart disease, into cancers, things like dairy and meat and processed foods and sugar can just wreak havoc in your system. So that's one of the reasons why those rates are so high in the United States.
So it wasn't necessarily just the processed foods and the takeout. It was really, potentially the meat.
And the dairy. Yeah. So as I cut those things out over the next 2 years, I got better and better. I had gained 60 pounds. So I lost all of the weight. I got out of all of my medications. All of my levels went back down to normal. And I actually just had a checkup last week, and the doctor called me when I was on my way here today and was telling me that my cholesterol and my thyroid and my kidney are all excellent.
Wow.
So I'm 46, and so it's really a testimony.
Sounds like a good plan.
It is. It's a testimony to the plant-based diet. I've been living this way for over 10 years now, and it's done me right. So.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy. So I think there's so many different diets out there, but you're living proof of the fact that, hey, this is what this has done in it. So medications were you like taking rheumatoid, stuff for rheumatoid?
Yeah.
Like that?
So I was taking I was actually getting shots in my hips. My thumb was frozen in place. I had to get a shot here and have a splint. So I was having.
Let's see it now.
So totally fine. Yeah. Yeah, so I was having all of these really severe problems that I would have thought would be happening to somebody who was 60, 70,
right.
80 years old.
Right.
So, and the fact that they couldn't tell me what was wrong was so frustrating for me. And so, they had me on Lorain, which is a nerve deadener, because I couldn't sleep on my side because my hips hurt so much. Yeah.
Wow.
So all of these things I was able to get off of them, and I'm medication free.
Well, congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I can't wait to hear about what you're going to do today. And Chef John, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of.
Well, I'm the head chef out at Columbia Hills Golf and Swim Club. I am kind of transitioning into the plant-based. I'm trying to do more for my clientele. Obviously, I got into it because I had to make sure she had something to eat. So she's educating me. That's one thing that as you go through culinary school, you're taught, more butter, more fat,
Heavy cream.
Heavy cream, lots of heavy cream.
Now, who would have taught you that?
Pretty much every chef I had. But I mean, that's kind of the thing of.
I have to watch him like a hawk on the heavy cream, I'm telling
She
you.
does. We don't even. I can't even have it in the house.
No.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing to where we need to transition as a whole to make sure we all have, we have something for, the vegans that come in, the vegetarians.
And as a restaurant or a club chef, I mean, have you seen a drastic change in your clientele and
I have.
the needs or requests from the clientele?
Oh, for sure. I've had just recently, I think it was last year, and I was talking to Lori about it. I have 5 or 6 vegans come in, and we have one thing on the menu for them. Because 90% of our members are meat eaters, and they want that heavy cream and bacon fat and all that in their food. But these people want, they want to eat clean. They less oil, more protein. It's a trend that's actually, I don't even know if you can call it a trend now. It's just a way of life.
Yeah. Interesting. And Chef, you're also one of the adjunct instructors here for the capstone course, which runs the Rathskeller restaurant that's open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Come on out.
Little shout out for the restaurant.
Please
right?
come out.
So what are we going to do today? What are you going to kind of teach us?
What I do for my clients is I help them to learn how to cook in a plant-based way.
And when you say your clients, kind of explain what it is that you do.
I am a culinary nutritionist and a plant-based nutritionist. So what I do is I work with people to help them lose weight and to also heal from chronic conditions that are either caused by their weight gain or caused by their diet. So, much like what Hippocrates said, which is, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. So that's really what it's about. So when people come to me, though, they've grown up much the way I grew up with meat and potatoes, and they really don't know how to cook any other way.
So do you have a lot of people that come to you with what is classified sometimes as fibromyalgia?
Yes.
People are like, oh,
There's
I
a
just
history of
ate
fibromyalgia in my family as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've had success with?
Yeah. So it's definitely almost everything out there in terms of diseases and chronic conditions is traced back to inflammation. And meat and dairy, and especially sugar and processed foods, are so inflammatory to your system. So if you have any kind of predisposition towards that at all, then it's gonna come out somewhere in some way, and it's gonna be different for different people. It might be, some type of joint issues like I had. It might be fibromyalgia. It might be sky-high triglycerides. So it just depends on the person. So what I do, though, is I help people to learn how to shop and how to cook and how to have a lifestyle that's so much healthier than what our standard American lifestyle is right now. And because it is really overwhelming. When I start talking to them about these foods, they don't even know, most people do not know what tempeh is. They don't know where to find it in the store, and they definitely don't know how to cook it.
And you're going to get to that, I'm sure. Explain what that is when we get there.
I was one of those people.
You were one of those people,
I had no idea.
So it sounds like a great thing. I think myself. I mean, I'm still a steak and potatoes kind of guy. I like that. I like beef but I like vegetables too. I mean, definitely do. So,
And there's lots of different genres out there of plant-based eating. And so you might have people come in who say, I'm a vegetarian. They might say I'm vegan. They might say I'm whole foods plant-based. They might say I'm whole foods plant-based, no oil.
Right. Ovo-lacto.
Ovo-lacto.
I mean,
I'm a pescatarian.
There's a million categories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's lots of different variations of. So I know when people ask, have asked, what do you have that's vegan? And so vegan's pretty much all plant-based.
Right.
So there's not a lot of variation with that. But when somebody says, hey, I'm vegetarian, well, can you eat dairy? Can you eat eggs? I mean, there's a lot more conversation about that versus when somebody says I'm vegan. So.
Right, and I think there's also a pushback against labels. So for somebody like me, I don't fall into one specific category. I'm primarily whole foods plant-based. That's about 90% of my diet. I do eat pasture-raised eggs every once in a while. Very rare occasion might have a little bit of fish, but I don't really do dairy. So I'm not considered a vegetarian. So you're going to have people who come in who say things like I'm whole foods plant-based, and or a lot of people, especially here in Cleveland, we have a big whole food, plant-based, no oil movement, where they don't want anything sauteed in oil. It'd have to be sauteed in water or in vegetable broth. They don't want oil even in their baked goods.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys are ready, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to make, and then we'll get rolling with it. Okay.
All right. So today we're going to make a marinated tempeh dish. And then later on, we're going to make a chocolate avocado pudding.
Awesome.
So as you can imagine, vegans are missing their chocolate pudding. So,
and avocado has, a lot of fat in avocado. So,
Yeah.
but it's a natural kind of fat, so that's
your
okay.
body
then.
does so much better with plant fat than it does with animal fat. And first of all, there's no cholesterol in any type of plant product. So you're only going to have cholesterol in animal products. I could eat all these avocados today, not 1 gram of cholesterol. So that is, I'm personally a big believer in plant fat. Although if you have heart disease, you're going to want to cut down on the plant fat. But for me, I'm pretty liberal with the plant fat, as long as it's good quality stuff. So I don't use things like canola oil, any kind of vegetable oil. I try to stick with coconut oil and, maybe a little bit of sunflower or sesame oil if I'm sauteing something, and then avocado, those types of things.
Okay, great.
So, we're going to get into some tempeh today.
All right, what's Chef John got going over here?
Just a little bit of brown rice,
Okay.
because as we're taught as culinarians, you start the thing that is going to take the longest time first. So
Right.
brown
right.
rice is going to be the
Okay.
long one for today.
All right.
So I always use brown rice because it doesn't have the fiber removed.
Right.
So you have a lot more fiber and nutrition in brown rice than you do in white rice. And so since we're trying to stay away from processed foods, we go with brown.
Okay.
So what tempeh is a fermented soybean product. And it comes in a kind of a hard cake like this. You can buy this anywhere. You can get tofurkey at Giant Eagle, and it's non-GMO and it's organic, and so it's good stuff. You can get it anywhere. And basically, the reason we want to include fermented foods in our diet is because they're naturally fermented with probiotics. So they do wonders for your gut flora. So since we're about 90% bacteria in our body, which is crazy, we're only about 10% DNA. 90% bacteria, and
I guess I never really considered that.
yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
And then also most of your, not only your immunity is centered in your gut, but also your serotonin production. So your
Really?
mood is totally affected by what you're eating.
Huh.
So we don't think about, how what we're eating all the time is affecting us. So things like naturally fermented foods like tempeh and kimchi can really help balance your gut flora. So basically what we're going to do here is just cut off.
I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, it's definitely a topic that's not, and not only is it new to society in general, but definitely new information in the culinary field,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. So all I'm going to do here is just cut off about 1/3 of this and just slice it, maybe 1/4 inch or something. And we're going to saute this up with some toasted sesame oil. I'm not as quick as you guys at chopping this stuff up.
That's all right. You're doing fine. So when this comes in this package, is it a ready-to-eat product, or does it have to be cooked, or what else besides sautéing it? Are there other things that we can do with it?
You can totally eat it just like this, but
Okay.
I also steam it.
Okay.
And I can, what I'll do is I'll steam it and chop it up and make it into sort of almost like a chicken salad.
Okay.
So
I mean, I don't know if it's that I smell, but I'm almost getting like an aroma of like a popcorn or
it's
something
a nutty,
like that.
it's a
Yeah.
nutty,
very nutty.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it's really high in protein. A very clean source of protein, low sodium, and really pretty low in terms of processing. So it's actually really good for you.
Okay.
So we are going to saute this up in some toasted sesame oil, but first we're going to marinate it.
Okay.
So this is our marinade.
And we're just we're about halfway through with our
Okay.
timeline, so just so you guys know where we're at.
Yep.
And that's some nice skills. Chef, you've done a good job teaching
had to
your
work
wife some
with me.
culinary training.
He's had to work with me quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's been an uphill battle.
I'd be home and how's my knife cuts look? They look pretty good. It takes time. It takes many, many years.
What do they say? After you've cut 1,000 of something, then you know how to do that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, it's been, for me, he cringes. When I first started this, he would cringe when I would cut things. He would just be like, oh, I can't stand to even look at you.
I'd walk by her and I'm like, you need a towel under your board.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
You need a towel.
right.
You need a
He
towel
still
right
does
there.
that. I still forget the
All
towel.
right.
So.
So we've got some brown rice going. Saute pans are ready to roll.
Yep. So this only takes about 4 minutes to saute.
Okay.
So we're just going to leave it here for a second.
Okay.
I will let, if you would like to chop this for me, I would appreciate it. So we're gonna steam a little bit of kale on top of that.
Okay.
And so my trick for that is that as soon as we get done sautéing our tempeh, we're just gonna put the chopped kale on top and let that steam a little bit, and it'll just steam up perfectly, and we serve it
And
like
that's
that.
it?
That's it.
Okay,
So we're
nice.
gonna have some avocado with this. So really what this ends up being is sort of a macrobiotic plate. So it really hits all of the different taste centers.
Okay.
And so this is gonna be our fat.
Yep. Got some texture from that kale.
Yeah.
What's the texture of the tempeh then? Is that
Well, you're gonna get to taste it.
well, I can't wait. But I mean, like, is that
It's very firm.
okay?
Yeah, so it's a great, substitute for meat
All right.
because it's got some firmness to it.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and saute up
Yeah. Let's get rolling.
the tempeh.
Good.
Now that's all sesame oil too.
This
that you've
is
got there, right?
toasted sesame oil, which smells amazing. So we have
Yeah.
a little bit of an Asian thing going on today, but really tempeh is very versatile, and you could barbecue it. You could really do whatever you want to
Okay.
with it.
I've made gyros.
Because that's pretty. I mean, the sesame oil is pretty intensely flavored as well.
So really, these only are going to need to be sauteed for a couple minutes on each side. And you want to kind of lay them out in a single layer.
And will those brown up then a little bit?
Yes, they will. They'll get a little bit brown, and then we'll put the rest of the marinade in there, and then the kale on top.
All right. And that's going to be one of the dishes, and then you're going to do the next one.
Chocolate avocado pudding.
All right. Well, I'm sure people are excited about that.
Yeah. So the great thing about the chocolate avocado pudding is it is so filling and nutritious. I mean, I can remember making just, a regular boxed pudding
Right. Right.
as a kid, and you really, you can basically eat the whole box. You really feel like there's nothing in there.
Well, I think that was 2 cups of milk, right?
Right. It's just, there's nothing in there, so there's nothing to tell your body it's time to stop. Yeah, so you just eat a big bowl of pudding. With this one serving, half a cup is plenty because it's just so rich.
Yeah.
So,
Can I help you get rolling with anything for the next dish?
well, really, it's all going in the food processor, but we can, do you want to check and see if any of these avocados look good?
Okay.
And because we'll use this one and then one of the small ones.
All right. You got it. That one
Ooh,
looks good.
perfect.
Right. Perfect.
Perfect, so we'll use
You want
that and
that one
that.
on
Yeah,
there too?
we don't need too much. And so,
That pit's in there buried a little bit.
yeah, that was one of my mishaps in the kitchen, was cutting myself trying to get the pit out. So John had to
Show her the
John had to
correct
show
way.
me the tricks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that I always cringe a little bit when students are working on that. You've got to be very careful about taking those out for sure.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pour the rest of this marinade in.
You said, do you need the whole one of these small
Yes.
ones? Okay.
And then I'll do just the half of this one. So,
Oh, okay.
because usually it takes one whole avocado, but these are super small.
Right.
So.
Okay. There you go. Done with that too, right?
Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and remove that from the heat. Is there a way to put a lid on this?
Yep.
So we'll put a lid on that and let it steam for a couple of minutes. And
Okay.
Then,
Now, salt and pepper on that?
nope.
No.
You don't need anything.
Really?
Trust me.
All right, okay, I will. I will.
All right.
It goes against everything we're taught.
Right, right. That's all right.
Yeah.
All good.
So, do you want to plate this up?
Do your thing.
So I just like to quarter it off when I plate it up. I don't like that piece very much. I'll let John clean it up and make it look pretty. All right.
That's good. Take that.
And I have a tahini miso dressing here, and this is just tahini, miso, lemon, and ground ginger.
Okay. Tahini's just like a ground sesame.
It is. It's just like peanut butter, but with sesame.
Right.
And then, of course, miso it's almost like a vegetable stock, but it's made from fermented soybeans.
Right, right. All right.
And then we're going to put, ready for the rice?
No.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and make the pudding.
Okay.
All right, so.
The spoon? They coming out okay?
Yeah.
All right. So we got avocados in this.
So this one's really simple. All we need for this is avocado and the cacao. So cacao is an organic form of cocoa, straight from the rainforest, great for antioxidants. It's just really considered a superfood. So for the cacao, we will need 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of agave. So we're doing some natural sweetener.
All right. There you go. Do we need to do anything with these strawberries over here?
That's
Can
what I was
Chef
gonna-
work on
We-
those?
Yep, that's what I was
Yes.
to start with.
All right.
So,
And so we've got the agave syrup, the cacao, some avocados
and that's
in the
it.
processor. And you know what? Before you fire that up, why don't we put that over here so people can see what's going on with that?
Okay.
So we can put that right here. There you go.
All right.
Should be set and ready to roll.
Okay.
Wow, that's starting to look like pudding. That's so easy too.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna taste good, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
It does.
Let's see if I need to scrape that down a little bit.
So this is exciting. So
All right, and give that one more go.
would the cacao, would that be equivalent to like a cocoa powder then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ready to get this on the plate?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the.
That's not quite there. I mean,
Okay. So,
looks delish. Wow, that really does look like pudding.
it does, and it's really tasty. So, and so what we're going to do is fan out some strawberries. And it does look pretty, as much as I hate to say it, with just a dusting of powdered sugar on
on it.
top. Yeah. So if I really want to get fancy, that's what I do.
All right. Okay, well, things are starting to come together here, so let me see if I can clear up a little bit of space for us so we can put those plates over there.
Do a little bit of both.
I'm going to do it this way so All right.
All right, that looks beautiful.
Do you want to taste
And
this
simple,
one first?
simple as that?
that's it.
All right, let's put that up there,
Okay.
and I will taste. Let me just get it right out of here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Tastes like pudding,
That's crazy.
isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It tastes like It tastes like pudding.
Yeah.
Very,
and it
very
just has
interesting.
that great creamy texture that people
It is.
crave.
It's real creamy. It's got a deep, rich chocolate flavor. It's very, very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and then Chef, you're gonna plate up this tempeh, brown rice, little avocado, and
Some kale.
the tahini paste on there too, right?
Yep. His plates are much prettier than mine, so I'll let him make his masterpiece.
Chef taught me well.
Looks pretty. Nice.
Yeah, I love that it has color.
All right. Very cool.
And then I will.
Gonna hit it with a little
Yep.
sesame seed, black sesame seed on there. Very nice.
All right.
Cool. All right, we'll try that. So we have a recap then. Why don't you recap real quick what we have on each of those plates?
Okay, so we have the tempeh, kale, brown rice, tahini miso dressing, and the avocado makes a nice macrobiotic plate. All the different flavors are represented. And then we also have the chocolate avocado pudding, very simple with just cacao and agave syrup and just some strawberries on top.
And if people wanted to get in touch with you to talk to you a little bit more about what you do, how do they find you?
You can find me on my website, which is theinnerstrengthlife.com.
All one word, theinnerstrength.com?
Theinnerstrengthlife.com, and I'm also on Facebook.
All right, great. Thank you guys so much for coming
It's a
today.
pleasure.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Lorain County, for another episode of the Culinary Enthusiast, and we will see you again next time. Thank you very much.